Hi, my name's Devin Jernigan. I'm a fantasy author, and I'm making this series of videos to explain different psychological concepts and observations I've made that are deeply influenced and that I love writing about. A super interesting concept to me is that selfishness will always win. And what I mean by that is if you take 100 people on a desert island and you only have food for 50 people, either there's going to be a war and break out and people will fight each other, or the selfless will voluntarily give up some of their portions to help the selfish. And the selfish can always bar down on the selfless, convincing them, hey, it's better to do this, hey, it's better to do this. What many would be manipulating, which it is, so they manipulate the selfless, in order for them to give up more so the selfish can have more. Now, if we extrapolate this into society, then we can see it all the time. The people who'd be willing to give up power lose it quickly. One of my favorite examples is in business. You have people like Wozniak and Steve Jobs. Wozniak built the thing. Apple was built on his shoulders, but he didn't care as much for it. He was much more thinking about others, thinking about building the business. And so he gave the power to Steve Jobs, and Steve Jobs, very selfish, ran with it. And it's not bad to be selfish in these instances. It's just that the selfish people end up having most of the power, most of the influence, most of the control. And we see that in society. Even in monarchies, like you have the Queen of England, they're born into that role. They'll always be into that role. But if we look into the past, the selfish would backstab, connive in order to get to the top. So even in a controlled system where people by birthright would end up in a place where you think that they could be trained to be good leaders, still the selfish would find a way to end up on top. And then we just see an insane amount of problems in society because of this. But it's not really something we can change. It's something that will just naturally happen. It's like a law. And so I love exploring just how this looks 1,000 years from now. What kind of lasting effects does this core human psychological principle have?